Happy New Year, everybody. It's Dr. Michael here with Parkinson's Disease Education, and I am coming to you live, of course, for this inaugural live stream of 2025. And we're going to kick it off with the midday Q&A. And this is where I am going to hang out for a little bit and, answer any questions that you have about Parkinson's disease. But I also have some announcements to make that may prompt questions as well. So we'll kind of see how things go. And it's kind of a spontaneous conversation that happens in these videos because either I know, or either I have questions directly I can help answer, or folks are shy and they don't say much, so I can talk a little bit. One way or the other, I'm here for it, and I'm happy to start this new year with you. I don't want to do a whole lot of navel gazing either, because that's something we could do in terms of kind of how things have developed over the last year and kind of where we've come in terms of the content on the channel and the podcast and so forth. But yeah, anyway, it's been a great year, 2024. So really looking forward to this year as well and the growth that we're going to have. So I wanted to see, I was curious to see something real quick. I want to look at the last 365 days. Okay, all right, got that. So I'm here to answer questions. Like I said, anything you have on your mind, you want to talk about or learn about with Parkinson's, I'm here to answer the best I can. And I'll open it up to that first. So just leave your comments in the live stream chat, or if you're on Facebook, leave them in the live comments there, because I'm live in both places at the moment. And we can have a conversation from that point. Make sure I've got the comments up so I can see that when they come. And that is it. I was looking at the statistics, just out of curiosity. I was looking at the YouTube, because as we sit now, sorry, I'm adjusting my earbuds. As we sit here now, this first day of 2025, the YouTube channel has over 8,100 subscribers, which blows my mind. Because at the beginning of 2024, looking at 365 days in the past, we gained over 4,500 subscribers, which I did not realize. But it just seems like the growth was so rapid this last couple months, especially. So I really am grateful for that, and thank you so much for those of you who are subscribed. And by the way, if you're watching live, you haven't liked the video yet, at least would like to have a few likes on this video. That's the only price of admission I'm going to charge today, just to show your appreciation. And do subscribe to the channel if you're not on YouTube, and follow on Facebook. That really does help more people to see this and to learn what we're teaching. No questions yet. Well, that's okay. If there's nothing yet, I will just make a couple of announcements and let you know what's going on in the next couple weeks. It's going to be a really exciting start to this year. I'm really looking forward to sharing this with you all. First of all, I'll go ahead and announce that I'm going to be hosting a webinar, and it's going to be a live webinar. It's 3 separate dates. It's the same webinar, so the same content, but it's 3 separate dates in this first part of the year, in this month. The first of which is next Wednesday, a week from today, and it's going to be 10:30 in the morning Central Standard Time. So the 8th, it's 10:30, and then we're going to do 1:15, the 15th of January. That one should be 10 o'clock in the morning Standard Time, Central Standard Time, and then the 17th is going to be, I think that one's the one that's at 12:30. So I had to kind of work the times a little bit based on what was going on in the day. And the reason the first webinar is a little bit later, I'll explain that in a little bit. That's part of my other announcement. But the subject of the topic of this webinar is called, or the webinar itself is called 5 Things We Wish You Knew About Parkinson's Disease. Essentially, it's something that, and I wrote an ebook with the same title, and essentially it's just 5 things that I wish everybody that was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease knew right from the get-go. And I feel like as part of what I've done with the channel and content I've done, I've often been explaining some of those 5 things, and again, I feel like it should be a conversation that is had from the get-go, from the very beginning. Even when you're still in the doctor's office getting a diagnosis, it should be common knowledge, the things that I'm going to talk about in this webinar. But I think it will be eye-opening for some of you that do come to it. Just kind of how it might be the first time you heard some of the information, or it might not be. But even if it isn't, I think you'll get a lot out of it. And obviously, I want you to come to the webinar so you can find out what we're going to talk about. But I plan it to be, it'll be 30 minutes, probably around 30 minutes to 40 minutes at the most of content, and maybe we'll leave it open for questions. And then that's going to be those 3 dates I mentioned. And if you don't remember those dates that I just mentioned, there's a link in the description to this video and on the post on Facebook that will take you to the webinar registration page where you can see the dates and times. Each one is only going to be open to 100 people. There's over 8,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I have at least almost 2,000 maybe on my personal Facebook following. I really hope I can get 300 people. That would be nice. It's a 100% free, so I really hope you'll consider coming, and would love your support with that. The next thing I want to announce that's really important and exciting is that I'm going to be interviewing. That's actually one of the reasons that I pushed the first webinar just a little bit later than 10 o'clock, is I'm going to be doing an interview with Dr. Jonathan Sattner-Bernstein. Let me know in the chat if you've heard of him. If you haven't, you really should look up his work. He's really doing some incredible pioneering work in the biomedical field for Parkinson's right now, to the tune of there's current research going on that he's going to be sharing some of the results of the recent trials that are I'm even not sure what he's going to say, and he's kind of got me excited because he's like, I don't want anybody to know about this until the first of the year. So he actually wanted to do the interview in December at first and said, well, maybe let's not publish it till after the first year. I was like, well, let's just do the interview in the first of the year. Then you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But his company is called Right Brain Bio. So he's a physician, he's an MD, but he's an independent researcher. So he's got a company, and so very fascinating. He's actually been interviewed by some big podcasts like Silver Bullet for PD, or No Silver Bullet for PD, excuse me, and others. And I was invited, or he actually reached out, or his assistant reached out to me and said, could we interview on your podcast? I said, 100%. I would love to have you on. So that's going to be next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And the reason I'm announcing this now is because typically in the past interviews I've done have just been off to the side, and I've published them as a video. But this time I thought, how cool would it be to do it live with the opportunity for question and answer from the audience. Now, there's a little catch. The only thing I'm going to ask for is that this is going to be a members only live experience. So for example, if you wanted to come listen in on our conversation and then participate in the Q&A, you would need to be at least an AMA member of the YouTube channel. So that's less than the cost of a cup of coffee to do that every month. So this is a big opportunity to ask a really interesting physician researcher some questions, and it's less than a cup of coffee to join. So if you want to do it live, you can more than welcome to do that, and you can find the membership links on the channel to join the membership level. If not, it will definitely be a public video that you will be able to see. But I really wanted you to know about it ahead of time so that you can consider supporting the channel, joining the membership, and then being able to ask and answer questions. Ask him questions live and have him answer them live in the actual interview as it's being recorded. So it'll be private, so it'll be a private stream on YouTube. You won't be able to access it publicly unless you're a member of the channel. And once it's public, of course, I will make sure that you will get access to it. But ahead of time, that's what we're going to do. So if you're interested in that, please be my guest. I'd love to have you join us. And yeah, those are the really exciting things. The webinar, of course, starting next week after the interview, actually. That's going to be 3 different dates for the webinar, 100% free to attend. But it is private, so you have to register to attend. That's the only request on that. And like I said, the link is in the description. And if you're, for some reason, you can't see that right now, or you're not sure what I'm talking about when I say description, it's just Podia. Hold on, let me get this right. I got to get the website right so I don't tell you wrong. pdeducation.podia.com/webinars. If it helps to put that in the live chat, I'll do that. But it's in the description, so you shouldn't need me to type it in, but I can do that for sure. There's at least 6 or 7 of you that have been hanging around really quietly. So say hi if you're not too shy. But otherwise, I haven't had one question yet, so it's not much of a question and answer session for me yet. But I definitely wanted to take the opportunity to make these announcements while we were here live. So PD, I'm just going to type this, PD Education. You should see this flash up on your screen. .podia.com. Hi, Stacy. Welcome back. Glad to have you with us today. .podia.com/webinars. At the moment, the only webinars on the site are the 3 that are coming up most immediately. All right, so I put that in the, you should have seen that URL pop up in your Facebook and your YouTube comments, but I'll show it here on the screen as well. pdeducation.podia.com/webinars. Not too hard to remember, but it's got a few I'm not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not just a straightforward whatever.com. It's got a couple things to remember. So, but that link is in the description, and it will stay there once this is no longer live anymore. So you'll be able to access that. Now I'm going to go on live again later today for What's Next Wednesday, and that's where we're going to talk about. For those of you here now, you're welcome to come back for that one. Some of the announcements I said today in this video are going to be the same. However, we also are going to be talking about the upcoming episode of the Parkinson's Disease Education podcast, which is going to drop Saturday. So be sure to stay tuned for that. I think you'll be interested in that topic, and that's where I'm going to announce that and talk a little bit about that, as well as what we talked about now in this video. So yeah, I don't know if I put Stacy's comment up. Sorry about that. Oh, Stacy says you'll see the posts on Turn2. Okay, yeah, that's great. I appreciate you mentioning that. For those of you watching who aren't familiar, there's a great app called Turn2, there's several different communities, but Parkinson's is one of the communities on the app, and essentially it's a community of persons with Parkinson's and some professionals like myself that share advice, information. It has some AI tools, pretty powerful AI tools that really, they pull most of the current clinical research that's out there, most if not all of it, and it will even rank it based on like how I'm trying to think, what's the way to word it? It's not necessary level of importance, but I guess how likely it is that it's valid or high-ranked research. Um, and I've been on there since the launch in August, and have participated in some Ask Me Anything series on the app. And that's a completely free app, of course. And so I'm happy to interact with you on there if you're not there already. But please do consider downloading the app and joining it. It's a really great way to get information and research on, basically, it's everything from current research to what other people with Parkinson's are doing to help themselves with their condition, whether it's exercise or products or whatnot. And it's consumer information as well as professional information. So essentially, medical gaslighting is a thing. So a lot of times people have experienced going to a physician's appointment, having either a question about a condition that they think that they already have or that they think they might have, or maybe ways to treat it, ways to deal with it. And then instead of the healthcare professional listening and saying, well, that could be, let's explore that, or they maybe answer the question and maybe the person has a hesitation or fear about something and they assuage or they soothe that fear in some way with better information. Basically, they make it seem like it's your fault that you don't know what's going on, or that you can't possibly know what you're talking about because, you're not a medical professional or whatever. There's just a lot of different examples of like, with Parkinson's, it's like, well, you can't possibly have Parkinson's. You're like 45. Like, what do you mean you can't? That obviously isn't true, right? So they're obviously ignorant, but they're making you feel stupid for even bringing it up if you're trying to explore whether you might be a young onset Parkinson's individual. That's one example of medical gaslighting, where it's like, you look fine to me. What do you worry about? That's not where that we want to be in the medical profession anywhere in the world, let alone the United States. And so I feel like this app is one pathway potentially towards ending that kind of behavior in the medical profession, because it's just not excusable, frankly, to treat a patient that way, and it's not right that you should have to feel that way as a patient. So anyway, that's a short plug on Turn 2. Thanks Stacy, for reminding me about that. That's I'm glad that you found my channel through that route. And Mr. and Mrs. Ball are watching again from Swaziland. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. This is your Facebook profile, I can tell. So I won't reveal names or anything, but thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, that's all I've got. If you have any questions, let me know. But I wanted to make those announcements. If you are just now tuning in, be sure to go back about 5-10 minutes, listen to the announcement, maybe 15. At the beginning, we talked more about announcements. And I'll, like I said, if you missed any part of this and you would rather not rewatch this, come back at 4:30 Central Time in the U.S. and I'll be doing the What's Next Wednesday video, and we'll be talking about some of these announcements once again. Thank you for being here. Lars, Happy New Year, sir. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. By the way, you all check out Lars and his group and what they're doing with carnivore diet and ketogenic diets and lifestyle with Parkinson's. Really cool stuff. And you're going to be on the podcast at some point, I promise. So that would be awesome. Anyway, yes, thank you for being here. Mr. and Mrs. Ball and Mr. Lars and Stacy and everyone else watching who didn't say anything. I still love you anyway. Happy New Year to you, and I'll be back at 4:30 for the next live stream. Until then, be empowered and have a great rest of your day.